Would you like to learn how to create beautiful birch trees in the fall? Keep on watching and I'll show you how. In this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through step by step how to create a landscape scene that has birch trees. I've always loved birch trees, the texture, the coloring, and in the fall, the beautiful golden leaves. So in this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through this and I'm going to create them amongst some other fall foliage going down a little path. So join me. To get started, I've put my paints out on my paper plate that I'm using, and I'm going to start designing the layout of the birch trees. So I'm going to get my flat brush wet. That's how I'm going to start. I'm going to be using my 3/4 inch flat brush, and I want to just put in some of the sky color first. It's going to be in the background. So I'm going to use some of this turquoise color with a little bit of white. And I'm just going to apply some of this color to the very top. And now I'm going to create my little path that I'm going to have. And I can just continue to use the same brush. Whatever brush you find the easiest to use for yourself. Brushes can be very personal for people, and some people really prefer one brush over another. I personally like the versatility of this brush to do so many things. So I'm going to pick up just a little touch of black. I'm going to get a little water on it. Give it a little tap on my paper towel, and I'm going to come in here and create a path like so. And notice I use the very end of my brush to just kind of do that. And now I'm going to add a little bit of white to this and kind of make like a gray. And just lay in where some of my birch trees are going to be. I'll have one that comes right down here. Maybe I'll have one next to it, and maybe this one will be a little bit kind of wonky, have a little twist in it, come down. And then maybe I will have some little smaller ones that come up. Maybe there'll be one that has like a little thinner branch here, with another one that comes off of it. And these I can just actually fill right in. Maybe back in the distance here, I'll have little thin one. Maybe there'll be a bigger one that kind of comes up in here. Maybe there'll be another one right here in this section. And these ones I won't have as much detail as the ones that are going to be up close. And maybe there'll be one right here. Maybe this one will have a little twist in it. And maybe there'll be a little one back here. Now that I kind of have a layout of my trees, I'm going to start throwing in some background colors. And to do this, I'm going to get my blending brush, my number 10 blending brush. I'm going to get that wet. And back in this background, I'm going to start laying in some color. I think back there, I'm going to have some of this apple tart green with a little bit of white to start with, and I'm just going to use some tapping strokes and just dab it. Maybe I'll just come down to right about here. Maybe this will continue to the other side here. Maybe I'll pick up a little bit of this Christmas green with the apple tart, just in a couple little spots. Maybe a couple here, a couple here, and then I'll go back to my apple tart and white. Just fill some of this in. Just using little dabs. A little bit more white. And by having a little bit more white added, I am kind of getting what's further away to be not so intense in its color. Maybe I'll throw in a little bit of orange and white right in here. Rinse that off and go back to some more green and white. And just kind of blend that in a little bit. Now for back in here, I want it to look like it's a little darker in that area, so I just added a little touch of black to my brush. And over here, I'm not gonna rinse off what's on my brush. I'm just gonna pick up a little bit of this purple, a little bit of black, and some white, and come in here. Oh, a little bit more white, and a little bit more black. And I'm going to rinse that off. Now I'm going to start throwing in some black with a little bit of purple. Kind of come in here. Just get some darker areas. And to help push this back into space, I'm going to add a little bit of white to that. going to come in just a little bit of a gray right underneath there. Maybe I'll put a couple little spots here, maybe here. Lighten it up even more and put in some more gray back in here. I'll rinse my brush off. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of this Christmas green and add just a little touch of black to it. Just come in here, get a little darker area here. And maybe I'll take this Christmas green and black and a little bit of this apple tart green and come back in here. Oh, I need a little bit more of the dark. And do some little dabs. Creating a little bit of green foliage back there. And I will pick up a little touch of black and come along right inside here and make a little dark section. And I'll take this now, I rinsed my brush, and I'm just going to tap this just like that. Now I'm going to put in some of my darker, my blacks right along this line. I'm just using my blending brush. I'm going to come along this side and just create some darker shadowy areas. Oh, I just realized I missed a little spot here with some of this apple tart green and white. So let me just throw this in. Some white. And I think I'm going to tap into this black and pull some of this black up into here and just tone that down just a little bit. And I'll rinse my brush off and I'll continue with my black along this pathway. And over here on this tree, I think I'm going to bring a shadow that's going to come across the pathway. Maybe a little bit of shadow area on the other side of the tree as well, right here. And we'll bring maybe a little dark section here. And we'll put a couple other little shadow areas in our walkway that we'll paint over with another color here in a little bit. going to get some white and yellow. And just do a little ridge or a little line across here. Just like that. And now I'm going to start putting in some of these other fun colors. I'm going to pick up some red with a little bit of orange. Just start putting in some dabs. I'm going to get a little touch of black on that too, just so in here it has a little bit of darks to it. Maybe even right in here we'll have it be a little bit darker. And now I'm just going to go to red and black. Just kind of come down in between these two trees here. Maybe I'll have one area that has a little bit more red. Maybe there's some black that kind of comes in here like this, and maybe at the bottom. Over here in this section, I'm going to put in a large area of black right in the bottom here. And we'll pop in a few little areas of black just up in here. And now I'll pick up just red. Bringing it right into the black, letting it pick up a little bit of that black, and just using dabbing motion. Come in here and do the same thing in between these two trees. Picked up a little bit more black that time. Now just add some red. Now as I move over here, I'm going to start picking up some yellow and orange. I didn't rinse my brush off. I'm just going to let that kind of all mix together in here. I'll pick up just orange and put a little bit of orange without rinsing my brush off. Maybe now I'll just get a little bit of red. black and red for down here at the bottom. So it will be a little bit darker at the bottom. And I'll take a look here and see if I have any little areas that I missed, like up in here. Let me get a little bit of that Christmas green and white and just put a little pop of that right in there. Maybe we'll even give a couple more little pops of that back in here. And now we'll skip over to the other side. I'm going to pick up some Christmas green, some apple tart green, a little touch of black, and come in here, just start putting some foliage right in here. And I think I will pick up a little bit of black and put in some little shadowy areas in the foliage here. And then continue with my dipping in the green, Christmas green, and apple tart green. Get a little bit more vivid the closer it gets to us. A little bit more intense in its color. I'm going to rinse my brush off and I'm going to pick up some red. I'm going to throw in a nice little pop of red right in here. And then I'm going to get a little bit of black. Just black and red on here now. Now I think I'm going to do a long stroke instead of dabbing right across here at the bottom. And I'm going to take a look. I missed a little area here, so I'm just going to throw in a little bit of black right in there. And I'm going to come along this side of the tree here and just put in a little bit of black right to there, and even down along this tree right here. And a couple little spots shooting out here. Now I'm going to get some shamrock green and white, and I'm going to pull this out using this kind of motion. And I'll take some of that shamrock green and white and bring that down here too. I'm just going to kind of cover the surface here. And I'm going to throw in a little bit of that right there too. I'm going to rinse my brush off, and I'm going to come in here and first take some of the Christmas green and black, fill this little area in here. Now I'm going to take some orange and red, more orange than red, and fill this little section in right here. So we got lots of fun colors. I love fall colors. And I'm going to take some yellow and orange and white, a going to come in using downward strokes now. Make sure you don't have too much water on your brush. And I'm just going to start popping in some golden grasses that are growing right here. Now we kind of have the basis for our background kind of laid out for us. I'm going to put a layer of paint on the trail. So I'm just going to continue to use my blending brush. I'm going to pick up some purple and black. I'm going to come in here and just lay in some shadowy areas here with the purple and the black. I'll put a little purple on here too. Now I'm going to rinse my brush off and pick up some purple with a little touch of white, a little bit more white. Just give that a little pop of light right there, and then add even more white and fill this in. Get a little more white, make it even a little bit brighter here. I'll be putting even a little more pop of white in there. We'll let that dry. I'm going to get a little touch of black on here now with the purple and white, just a little bit, and come in and fill this area in. I want to kind of bring this up, so I add a little black. I'm just going to change the shape of that. And I'll rinse my brush off. Now I'm going to revisit some of the, especially this in here. What I'm going to do now is lay in some black on the trees themselves. So I'm going to start by just putting in some of the black little coloring in the trees. And I'm trying to not create any kind of a pattern. Sometimes there'll be just a little spot. Less detail the further away I get. notice I've got a little curve in most of my lines, and that helps give that illusion that these trees are round. And now I'm going to let all of this dry really well, so when I come back, we'll do a little bit more work on these trees and a little bit more work on the path. I think it's looking good so far. I'll see you in a second. Okay, so now I'm going to get back to putting in some coloring on these trees. So, continuing to just use my blending brush, I'm going to pick up a little purple first and just kind of rub it on the side of my plate. Not a lot. I just want to come in some places, and I'm just going to pop in a little bit of this purple here and there. And now I'm going to pick up a little bit of this turquoise, and I'm going to do the same thing. But this, I'm going to put a nice little pop of this back in here, and some of these that are a little further away. And now I'm going to get some gray. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of white, come over here with some black. And I want to make it a little lighter than that, so add some more white. I'm going to come in and just start throwing in some of this. And I can go right over some of these little black lines, just leaving some little pops of the darker black popping through. And notice I'm going from right to left instead of up and down. That way the strokes of my brush will kind of aid in that illusion of the trees being circular. And we're going to take this and come right over that purple that we put. And I can at times run a little line across the edge there just to smooth out any of the other paint that has come across the tree. Pick up a little darker here, make it a little darker here at the bottom. Maybe the darker starts only being more on this one side of the tree, on the right side. And the reason for that is that it's getting closer to an opening where the sun is kind of shining through the trees. And now I'll add some white to that and make the other side a little bit lighter. Now coming over here, I'm going to have a shadow that kind of comes down the lower section of this tree. So I'm going to make that a little bit darker. Maybe even a little bit darker here on this side. And now I'm going to add some lighter gray to the other side. My brush off for a minute. Now this tree back here, I want it to have a little bit of a dark shadow on the right side, so I'm just going to run a little bit of black back there. And now I'll pick up some lighter gray. Just pop that in on that side. I think I want this tree to be a little bit darker, so I'm going to just run a little shade of gray over the whole thing. Get it a little bit darker. Keep running it over to get it to the shade that I want. Same thing with this one. Make it just a little darker than what it is. And we'll hit this one too. And this one will put a dark shadow on that right side of the tree. And down here at this bottom, we're going to put in a darker shade with just some black. And on the right side of this trunk too. Now I have some areas that I need to touch up back in here, so I'm going to pick up some purple and black. I'm going to come in here, just do little dabs. Just to make sure all of my canvas is covered. Let me see if this is dry. I think I want to make that a little bit darker yet, so I'm going to pick up a little bit more black. Really get a nice shadow there. get a little bit of gray, with just a touch of this turquoise added to it. I want to come in, just smooth out some of these edges a little bit. Where it might be a little bit bumpy. I'm going to touch up some other areas over here too with some of this green and black. Get in here. A little bit tighter to this tree here. Now I'm going to put some other branches coming off of some of these trees to put some of the gorgeous fall leaves on. Before I do that, I want to come in and do a little bit more here. I want to do a little bit more here. So let me start with this area here. I'm going to add a little bit more of the grass effect. So for this one, I'm going to be using my number 14 flat brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of purple, so I'm just sticking it straight in, and a little bit of the orange and yellow, and I'm just going to get some darker areas of the grasses in here. Then I'm going to rinse my brush off, and I'm going to pick up some orange and yellow and white. So we have orange, yellow, and white. Now I'm just going to pick up some yellow and white. Just make it really bright right there in the front, because the sun is coming through like this. And I'm going to take some of that yellow and white and put a little bit of that over here too. I'm going to just get some white on my brush. Let me get a little bit more white on my plate here. So just using white now, I'm going to come in, I'm going to put a few little pops. Just some white. Get a little pop of purple back in here. Okay. Now let me check and see. This is dry, so I'm going to use that same flat brush, and I'm going to get some white now. Just stretch it out on here, and I just want to come in here, put a layer of white right over top of this. And even down in here. Now this area, I do want a little bit darker, so I'm going to get some more black and purple and just make this a little darker down here. And I think I want to put a little pop of red right in here too. Just put a little there, and then I rinsed my brush and I'm just going to spread that out just a little bit. Just to give it a little warm tone right here. Maybe there wants to be a little bit of red here too. Maybe even here. Now I'm going to kind of let that dry, and I want to look, maybe the sun is peeking down through here and there's going to be a little pop of yellow and white popping through here. Maybe even right across the top in a couple spots here. Maybe we'll have a few little grasses coming off here too, with just white. Alright, so I think I'm ready now to start putting in some of my other smaller branches. So to do this, I'm going to use my round brush. So I'm going to get that wet, and I'm going to pick up some black. I'm going to roll my brush in the black, add a little white to it. And we'll just start creating some branches coming off. Some littler ones back here. Now we have some branches. I'm going to put some golden leaves on them. So to do that, I'm going to roll it in the orange first, and then I'm going to roll it in the yellow. And I'm going to come in and I'm just going to put little clusters of leaves. By just touching with my round brush. And after I put the yellow and gold, I'm going to come back in a minute and put just yellow over top. The orange and yellow is going to give me a nice golden undercolor for some shadowing effect. Now the further away I go, I want to make sure that my little touches are a little smaller, so I'm just going to use the very tip of the brush to make the leaves smaller back there. And we'll give that a minute to dry, and I'll come back and put some more bright yellow over top of that. Okay, we're almost done now. I'm going to come in with my round brush again with just yellow. And let me get a little bit more yellow on my plate. And I'm going to come in and put some more pops of this bright yellow. Now, I want to give everything a once over, and now would be the time for touching up. And I do see a couple of things that I want to do. I'm going to take my blending brush and pick up a little bit of black. I want a little bit more of a shadow right here. So I'm just going to make it a little bit darker here, and then bring it out a little bit. And I'm going to pick up a little bit of purple, and I want to have just a little bit more purple over top of this black here. And I also want to have this tree be a little darker yet, so I'm going to pick up a little bit more watered down black and just come back here. Just make that a little bit darker, and this one as well. May even just come in and make that all a little darker by just putting a thin layer of black over it. And also alongside of this tree is still a little bit wonky. So I'm going to take my flat brush and pick up just a little bit of gray and come right down here and even that up right there, just by doing that. Get this one too. Can pick up a little bit more white. And just do that. So this would be the time that you would take a look and see if there's anything that, any areas you may have missed. I could take my little round brush and maybe mix up a little bit of this light green and white. There's a couple little spots in here I could hit. And I think that that will be good. Thanks a lot for joining me today. I hope that you were inspired by what you watched. Every time that fall comes around, I really feel renewed in my spirit. For some reason, the fall leaves remind me of the sanctification process through Jesus Christ, getting a little closer and closer to the glory of God, till one day we cross through those pearly gates. The leaves, they get so beautiful right before they die. It reminds me of our sanctification. Well, if you liked what you saw, like and share. It would really help this channel. And also, if you want to continue to get the updated videos and new ones that come out, subscribe and hit that bell button down there. That way you'll get notified when they get uploaded. So until I see you again, happy painting.